Right, well, hello, my name's Eddie Druce. I'm a Principal Business Intelligence and Analytics Consultant here at Thorogood, based in the UK. I've been working with Microsoft BI technology stack for coming up to 20 years now, and I'm really pleased to take you through today some of the advancements that we have seen and that we're using with our customers to help them achieve their goals and objectives. Okay, so in terms of our agenda today, we'll start with a brief introduction to Thorogood. We'll then discuss the overall Microsoft offering. In total, there's an awful lot to cover, so our focus for this webcast will be the recent improvements and future direction of Power BI, some of the highlights related to the SQL Server 2017 product, and then finally we'll take a look at what is happening around Microsoft Azure. Okay, so for those of you who don't know Thorogood, we're an independent global professional services firm specializing in business intelligence and analytics strategies, solutions and services. We're a global company. We have offices in London, New York, Philadelphia, Singapore, Sao Paulo and Bangalore. All of our consultants possess a unique mix of skills, blending business understanding with a strong technical aptitude and a deep understanding of analytical tools and techniques. We offer a full range of BI and analytics services, including strategy and roadmaps, requirements, design, implementation, all the way through to training and support. Just a brief mention of some of our customers who span typically four verticals: consumer goods, pharmaceutical and life sciences, banking and insurance. Our clients are some of the leading organizations in these sectors, and we take a lot of pride in the long-standing relationships we have fostered with some of the names you see here. An important point in today's webcast is that we are an independent consulting firm, meaning we don't work with one specific technology, but choose to work with and partner with multiple that we see are significant to our customers. For those we do work with, we forge strong partnerships in order to ensure that we've got a high level of expertise and relationship, which helps further develop the advantages we provide to our customers. From a Microsoft standpoint, we've been a partner for a long time and a gold certified data platform, data analytics and cloud platform, which recognizes our commitment and focus in this area. We also have a number of tie-ins with Microsoft's partner program and run regular Power BI and advanced analytics hands-on training. Details of upcoming sessions can be found on our website in the events section. As part of this webcast, you'll see a demo of a dashboard developed in Power BI. A similar dashboard, along with some others we have developed for specific business cases, is available on the Power BI Partner Showcase. This is a portal specifically where we've shared some of our solutions. So yeah, go ahead and see if you can locate us there. Okay, so we've separated out functionality associated with business intelligence and analytics applications into four categories: reporting, collaboration, data platform, and analytics. And what you can see here is that Microsoft technology spans all four categories, and within each category there are multiple options. Some key things to note. First is that SQL Server is very prevalent across categories, whereas once it was the dominant technology for Microsoft BI, now it's just a part of a much wider offering of tools and capabilities. Secondly, the growth and expansion of Power BI, which is fundamentally a user enablement tool, which features across multiple layers of the architecture. Strictly speaking, it isn't a data platform, although it does provide a data storage capability. It's very functionally rich and improving all of the time, and we'll take a look at that in a lot more detail in a few minutes. And finally, the Azure cloud-based services, which provide customers with options to re-platform certain capabilities and workloads, such as parts of the SQL Server database or analysis services, and move these elements to the cloud and create hybrid architectures. Plus, it provides a whole host of new capabilities which were not previously possible, such as data lake storage, machine learning, and advanced analytics. Okay, so the first area that we'll cover today will be the Power BI roadmap. So what is Power BI? Well, it's many things to many people, but in summary, it can do the following. It allows you to connect to multiple data sources, both on-premises and in the cloud. It allows you to transform the data, do manipulations or calculations to format the content. It allows you to model the data into structures that are meaning for reporting and to combine models from different data sources. Once modeled, it then allows you to generate insightful and visually attractive reports and dashboards to purvey the content. It provides built-in intelligence and analytical capability to allow you to understand your data better and run predictions. And finally, allows you to share that analysis with others and collaborate on it. So let's take a look at an example dashboard. Okay, so here's an example of a dashboard that we've created for a fictitious consumer goods manufacturing company. The purpose of the dashboard is that it allows the user to look at their retail customers and to see how much profit margin they're making, and also how much the retailer is making in comparison. Important information that they would want to know for future trade negotiations. You can see here that we're in the Power BI desktop tool. We double click on the home button, that hides the ribbon, and we get a bit more space. Now, the dashboard consists of multiple visualizations, giving us different perspectives of the data, and what we'll do is take a look at these and also at some of the newer features that have been added to Power BI in recent releases. The KPIs on the top left show us the value of operating profit and retailer profit metrics for the current year, as well as the margin. The gauge shows us it graphically with the black line indicating the equivalent value in the prior year. You can see here in both cases we have surpassed the prior year's value. If we move down to the bar chart at the bottom left, this shows us the retailer profit metric split out by my top retail customers. The green bar shows me their current profit, and the grey bar shows me their profit from last year. Now, if I hover over the grey bar, I get a pop-up tooltip showing me the exact value as well as the value of some other metrics, in this case the volume. However, if I hover over the current year, I get a different tooltip. This is a new feature of Power BI and shows you what is in effect a mini report within the tooltip. What you can see here are the same metrics, plus also a line chart showing me that the trend in volumes. So although this retailer is profitable, you can see that I'm doing a lot less volume with them this year than in the previous 2 years. You can also see a pie chart showing how much volume I do with this retailer across my different sectors. So with the tooltips, you can really add a lot more contextual information to my analysis. Okay, so moving on to the bottom right, I've got a bubble chart here which shows the relationship between the change in operating profit and the change in the retailer's profit for each of my brands. The size of the bubble representing the volume sold. You can see here that the RAD brand is much more profitable for me than the others, while the Earth Tons brand here is much less profitable for me, but with a much greater volume. Now, if I right-click on the brand, I get the option to do a drill-through report. Now, this opens up a new report on a different tab, showing me a more detailed breakdown of the SKUs within that brand, taking the context of the brand through with the drill. Here you can again see the change in operating profit, but this time for my SKUs. And I can quite easily identify some poorly performing ones, such as these two, which are both in the liquid soap category. So I might want to think about taking some action with these two SKUs, such as changing my pricing, or if they aren't really selling, delisting from my portfolio. Right, so if we go back to the first dashboard, if you take a look now at the top right, we can see a waterfall chart which shows how we move from our gross sales value minus all of our associated costs to get to our operating profit. Here we can use another feature of Power BI, which is a built-in machine learning capability, to give us a bit more context about this. So for example, if we right-click on logistics and select the Analyze option, what it will do is it will run a number of inbuilt algorithms to try and give us some answers as to why logistic costs are much lower, in this case the trade terms, which it takes as its starting point. You can see it produces multiple visualizations where it's analyzed the numbers across a number of different attributes. And you can see here the first one, it suggests the decrease is mostly down to Williams, Oxa and generic other customer group, where most of my costs are going. I can choose to change the graph type if I like, if that will give me a better insight into the information. I can also pin it to a dashboard if I want to keep it. Okay, so the final feature I wanted to highlight in Power BI is the ability to interact with the data using natural language. This is a feature which has been part of the server previously, and we'll talk about the server in a minute, but it's now been included in the latest desktop version. What this feature allows me to do is interact with the data using natural language. So if I type retailer profit, it'll pop up a number for retailer profit. Maybe then I want to filter it for a certain year, or 2016. It'll filter it for 2016, and then maybe I want to split it by dimension. Let's use the Cheltenham Dimension as an example, and it now draw me a bar chart. So what you can see is a very handy way of interacting with the data without really needing to know the model or how to go about selecting measures and dimensions. And then once it's drawn that graph, I can then choose to add it to my dashboard and pin it there for referring back to a later date. With this Q&A feature, in addition, if I also start to search for something such as sales forecast, you see sales forecast, I've actually already got a report or a report tab with that name, and Power BI chooses to show me that first. So obviously referring back to the fact that I might have already created some reports with sales forecast, and it'll choose that as a default version when I go searching for that. Okay, if we close that down, so we've seen the desktop version. Let's just take a very brief look at the online version. So this is now Power BI running online in the Power BI service. And as you can see, this looks pretty much the same as the desktop version. All of the interactions, all of the tooltips are here as they were in the desktop version, and it works pretty much the same way, but this time running completely within the browser. So the Power BI service, which is the online element, is something which you can sign in and use for free. However, if you want to collaborate and share your content with others in your organization, then you need to sign up for a pro license, which costs on a per user per month basis. However, Microsoft is very much aiming Power BI as an enterprise solution, and in orchestrate that last year, they launched the Power BI Premium service. What Power BI Premium offers is a cloud-based service which looks very similar to the online Power BI service, but with some key differentiators, namely dedicated capacity. So with Premium, you can add cloud capacity, which is dedicated to you, your use, and not on a shared cloud platform, such as you'd get with the Pro version. So with Premium, you can scale capacity up or down depending on your needs, which is all done with a few clicks, and to your end users, it appears pretty much the same. Administrators can then choose how you want to use that capacity and which workspaces and users can take advantage of it. Because your capacity is dedicated to your use, then other restrictions which exist in the Pro service are also removed. Most notably, your dataset storage is increased. So with Premium, you can upload workbooks that are up to 10 gigabytes in size, which, given that the models in Power BI are highly compressed, means you can build what is quite a large model. And Microsoft have also said that over time, this 10 gigabyte limit will be removed entirely. From a refresh point of view, bigger models means you need more sophisticated data refresh processes, as refreshing the full model each time would take a very long time. As of the May release this year, the ability to update datasets using an incremental approach was released in preview mode. The refresh increment is based on a time period, so for example, you can refresh the data held on the server for the last 5 days, for example, and that will then just refresh that portion of the data in your model. You can also be more sophisticated and only refresh the data that has changed over that period. To do that, you require a column which identifies what has changed, such as the last modified date. The refresh policy is set per table, so it can vary for each table in your model. So all in all, quite a welcome improvement and something which allows larger Power BI models to be managed much better. Now, incremental refresh is only available as a premium feature at the moment, but Microsoft also said that they'll roll this out to the standard service as well in time, so it will become available for more users. And finally, many organizations will have a large ratio of report users to report curators or admins. So prior to Premium, any user who is viewing a report online would require a Pro license. With Premium licensing, users who are simply consuming the reports do not require a Pro license to simply view and interact with the data. Content viewed just has to be packaged up via a Power BI app, and that way you're able to distribute your content to a much wider audience. Now, for the past year or so, Microsoft has been evolving how they provide for on-premises reporting. And with the release of Premium, you now have the option to run Power BI reports on-premises, on your own or on shared infrastructure. Now, on the left-hand side, you see SQL Server reporting services, part of the SQL Server product set, and your traditional location for storing and executing reporting services and mobile reports. You can also store Power BI reports or workbooks within the reporting services portal, but only really for downloading, as you still require the Power BI desktop client to better view them. Now on the right-hand side, we have the new Power BI on-premises report server. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same as the reporting services report portal, but what it does is it allows Power BI reports to be run directly within the browser, as you would with the cloud-based Power BI service. Power BI Report Server is available to you if you have purchased Power BI Premium, and also if you have the SQL Server Enterprise licensing with software assurance option. It isn't updated as much as a cloud-based service, so typically every 4 months rather than every month with the online service, and also doesn't support some of the functionality such as browser-based report building and also some of the advanced features we shared earlier such as Q&A and quick insights. But if you are using a mixture of reporting services and Power BI reports in an on-premises configuration, then it may well be of interest and have some value for you. So on the subject of on-premises, this leads us nicely on to talk about the Power BI Data Gateway. The Data Gateway is essentially a bridge between our on-premises data and the cloud-based Power BI service. So to give you a brief overview of how the gateway works, a query will be created by the cloud service. So you can see here that the gateway isn't just utilized by the Power BI service, but also by other cloud-based services, including Azure Analysis Services, which we'll talk about a bit later. The query, along with the encrypted credentials for the on-premises data sources, are sent to the queue for the gateway to process. The gateway gets the query, decrypts the credentials, and connects the data source with those credentials. The gateway sends the query to the data source for execution, and the results are then sent from the data source back to the gateway and on to the cloud service. Each month, Microsoft releases incremental refreshes to the gateway technology. Primarily, that's been focusing on additional connectivity improvements. For example, the gateway already supports single sign-on for the key Microsoft technologies, plus others such as Teradata and Oracle. But they're adding more in each release, and in the last few months, they've added single sign-on for SAP HANA and Impala. Okay, so that concludes our look at Power BI. Now let's take a look at what's been happening on the SQL Server product by taking a look at the current release, SQL 2017. Before we get to the specific update, it's just worth setting the scene with some general themes that we've seen to illustrate the direction that Microsoft continues to move with SQL Server. The first is performance improvements. So the bar continues to be elevated, both for processing and querying, and that's been a continued focus with each release. Next, we have a refinement of the end user experience. This relates to the continued focus on the end user, making things simpler to use, whether that's with an ad hoc analysis tool like Analysis Services, or with structured reports like Reporting Services. Third, we have improved options for developers and administrators, which illustrates a complementary focus on the ease and speed in which developers can create robust systems for those end users. And lastly, we have SQL Server on Linux. So this is quite a shift in direction for Microsoft and represents Microsoft's new approach to try and coexist more with other vendors. There's also a shift which is quite understandable. There are far more Linux services out in the world today than Windows servers, so this has opened up a large new market for them. By opening their SQL product up to run on Linux, it creates more competition for like the companies such as Oracle. So now let's jump into the detailed advancements across SQL Server 2017. With the limited time we have today, we won't go through all of these, but I'd like to draw your attention to a couple around machine learning and the database engine. First, Microsoft has rebranded what was Microsoft R Services, which was introduced in SQL 2016, to be the new machine learning services, and in doing so has extended support to Python. It has also been announced that this will be further extended to include Linux support in future releases. The new Microsoft ML packages for both R and Python contain state-of-the-art machine learning algorithms, therefore leveraging the strength of both languages. This again supports Microsoft's approach of making their platform more compatible with other technologies. In the database engine, as in line with the overarching themes, Microsoft has made changes across the board to improve performance, user experience, and support for administrators and developers. Updated features range from new string functions to memory optimization enhancements, all of which are also available on the cloud-based Azure SQL database. But the one we wanted to bring to your attention is the graph database capability. So modeling many-to-many relationships can be a challenge in relational databases and frustratingly often hits limitations. SQL 2017 has now introduced a graph database feature that enables modeling of complex relationships between datasets. SQL Graph Database is fully integrated with SQL Server and can leverage the T-SQL query language that developers are familiar with. To give you an example, in a relational database, you model many-to-many relationships by introducing join tables. So in this example, an employee can hold several responsibilities in more than one department. And as you'd expect, a department can also have more than one employee. To model that relationship, the employee department join table, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, is created to represent the different roles that each employee has. In enterprise scale solutions, this join table can become complex and timely to query. To contrast this, let's see how graph databases handle the same relationship. In a graph database, each object is stored as a node, and physically contains a list of relationship records that represent its connections to other nodes. With this structure, adding a new relationship in the future is as simple as creating a new relationship record for the node, as we've done here, to indicate that Alice manages Heather. As you can see, graph databases can better handle modeling complex relationship challenges that we often see with advanced analytics scenarios. Okay, so in our final section, we'll take a look at the updates made to some of the Microsoft Azure offerings. Before getting into some specific updates, we'll just briefly describe what Microsoft Azure covers. So Azure is a comprehensive set of cloud services offered by Microsoft, some of which are shown here. As you can see, the offerings span infrastructure, platform as a service, and software as a service. Together, the Azure products enable organizations to build, deploy, and manage applications through Microsoft's global network of data centers. Microsoft has made sure that integration with Azure has been a priority for their on-premises applications, ensuring their solutions offer a competitive hybrid cloud option. So with Azure, you can analyze data across the cloud and on-premises for maximum use of your existing investment. We won't talk about all of the Azure services, but we will highlight and talk about a few. Firstly, Azure Migrate. This tool helps you plan your migration into the cloud by helping you see what machine dependencies you have, what sizes you need, and the estimated cost. Therefore, quite useful in helping you to see the steps required so you can move certain applications into the cloud without too much additional effort. We'll now take a look at a more focused look at a few of the other offerings, namely SQL Server Data Warehouse, Analysis Services, and Databricks. So, Azure SQL Data Warehouse. What is it? Well, it's Microsoft's cloud-based enterprise data warehouse. Leverages massively parallel processing to quickly run queries across extremely large sets of data. The data warehouse is geared towards online analytical processing, or OLAP, and has scale-out capabilities which can process complex data sets. Essentially what it is under the covers is 60 SQL Server machines all bolted together and running as one database. There's no theoretical data size limit imposed on the Azure SQL Data Warehouse, so you can scale it up to enormous volumes. In reality, you'd start thinking about SQL Data Warehouse if your data volumes are more than around about 250 gigabytes of data, as that's when you start to see greater benefits than sticking with something like a SQL Azure database. The other good thing about SQL Data Warehouse is that you pay for what you use, and you can with ease pause, restart, and increase the processing capability that you require, so that you only pay for what you need and don't have large query capacity sat around idle. Some of the new features most recently released include a graphical execution plan, which makes it simpler for doing performance tuning, identifying bottlenecks in queries. So this is a welcome addition for developers and administrators. Analysis Services on Azure was released as a cloud offering back in 2017. If you're not familiar with this technology, it offers a data modeling and processing capability which enables you to build models that are familiar to users, fast to access, and with the ability to create quite complex calculations. Analysis Services is a key part of the on-premises SQL Server product, and it's really good that this is now available in the cloud, as it means a lot more users will be able to take advantage of it. The particular version of Analysis Services which you can access in the cloud is the tabular version. This is the same underlying engine that's used in Power BI, except being server-based, so the model is designed for greater scale and sophistication. Development of Azure Analysis Services models uses the same environment that will be used for SQL Server Analysis Services. However, in addition, for Azure, there's also a new browser-based interface, which allows developers to start creating and managing Azure Analysis Services models more efficiently. Whether you're getting started on creating a new model or just trying to add a new measure to an existing one, the tool can be a big help. Another very useful feature that's been added is integration with Azure Diagnostic Logs. With this integration, you can now run diagnostic logging on Azure Analysis Servers without any impact on performance, which generally has a big advantage for performance tuning work. And finally, Azure Databricks. So this is a technology we've been working with quite recently with one of our customers, and we're quite excited by what it offers. So Databricks was developed by the team who wrote the Spark language and is being offered as a first-level offering within Azure, meaning you can create a Databricks cluster using the Azure portal with great ease and efficiency. What Databricks does is it allows you to run advanced analytics routines on large-scale data sets. It runs in memory, so it's highly performant. It'll support multiple languages, for instance Python and R, as well as SQL, which is good for development effort, as it allows users to choose the most appropriate language or one they're comfortable with. And you can execute data workbook patches directly or embed them in a processing workflow, such as one which would be built using Azure Data Factory. for using the advanced analytical capability in production scenarios. And that concludes our overview of the latest developments for Microsoft. As I said at the beginning of the webcast, Microsoft covers an awful lot of bases with its multiple product sets. And with the cloud offering, the speed at which those become available is really staggering, and we're increasingly seeing our customers take advantage of these as they look to scale out their enterprise BI environments. If you've got any questions related to today's content, then feel free to get in touch with me directly, and I'll be very glad to try and help. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time today.